Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on Thursday. A little bit different today. Thought I'd pop on and do a live Q&A. It's been a while since I've done one of these, and as we are getting closer towards Monday's transfer deadline, I thought it'd be a good opportunity for you guys to come on, have your say, tell me what you're thinking at the moment about what's gone on during Arsenal's window. What do you hope might happen between now and Monday? What do you think might happen between now and Monday? And what if nothing happens? Let me know your thoughts. And it doesn't just have to be about transfers. I know at the moment you're all, everyone's getting all hepped up over transfers, and we are in transfer season, so that's no surprise. But if you want to talk about anything else, then please fire away. Arsenal in Dubai right now. Well, they're actually probably in the air right now. I think they left this morning, arrived there today. Could well be having that. I think the first training session is later this afternoon as well. So yeah, you want to have your say on that about anything, then let's have some good old Arsenal debate. What time is it now? It's just gone 1 o'clock. I'm going to be here till about 1:30 today, so we've got about 25 minutes or so. And I won't take up any more of your time by rambling away. So let's get going. Lots of you saying hello. Thank you very much. Good to see all you guys on board. Plenty more as well. I can't flick through all of you, but you're all here joining me from anywhere, all these places around the world. Always love seeing where you guys are joining me from. Noel, obviously somewhere where it's in nighttime right now. So good evening, Noel. Hope you are well. Any striker news? There you go. Straight into the transfer talk. Look, I would love to sit here right now and reel off what Arsenal are going to do between now and Monday. Say they're going to be signing Dominic CalvertLewin or something like that, but I just can't say it, I'm afraid. At the moment, it's all a little bit quiet at Arsenal. They're definitely trying. They have spent all month trying. But as far as I'm aware, at this stage, there is nothing very much, close to being done when it comes to a striker. So I can't say for sure if they're going to get anyone in by now. You have to say it's beginning to look unlikely. What are we now on Thursday? We've got about 4 days left to the transfer window. To sign a striker between now and Monday, it takes a big move. It takes a big move for it to happen. It's far from impossible. It could happen, but as it stands, it's just beginning to feel unlikely, isn't it? And there are opportunities out there. We know Alexander Isak, for example, is a player that Arsenal like and have been looking at, have been interested in for a while, and he does have this release clause. So if they want to trigger it, they can. But having said that, it's not easy, is it? Because it's about £75 million. You've got to pay for it all in one go, which is the way in Spain we've seen it with what Arsenal did with Thomas Partey. And so they've proved that it can be possible. But, it's a lot of money to be parting, and Mikel Arteta would have to have been at his very convincing best during those talks with Stan Kroenke over in the US. So the striker situation, it's all just a bit up in the air at the moment. You've got Aubameyang as well, who I'm sure plenty of you are going to be asking about. That needs to be resolved one way or the other in the next few days, you would think. So it's hardly ideal ahead of the second half of the season what Arsenal find themselves in when it comes to the strikers. Maybe it's a lot of it is their own doing. I mean, we've known about the contract situation of Lacazette and Eddie for an awful long time. Mikel's obviously made this big decision when it comes to Aubameyang. Now we're going to have to see if they don't sign a new striker and if that's a decision that he lives to regret. Good to see you, Colin. Hope you're well. Interesting one. Why not Basuma? He's better than any midfielders we've been linked with, and he's 24 years old. I mean, Basuma is a player that Arsenal have watched, but they've just chosen for one reason or another not to follow it up. They had a chance in the summer. They didn't go in. There was tentative interest early on, and it never really went anywhere. They started focusing on other targets. Ruben Neves, for example, that was one that Arsenal were very, very interested in the summer. It didn't happen when Granit Xhaka ended up staying, but it's interesting. I mean, I really like Basuma, and it's kind of like similar to Bruno Guimaraes now. There are these players that the fans really, really want, but for one reason or another, it's the club just don't seem to be as interested as the fans are in these players, and you have to, at the end of the day, sort of sit back and think they've done their analysis, they've gone through. They're all professional people in this recruitment team of Arsenal, headed up by Edu, and they've obviously done their analysis on all these players, and for one reason or another, they've decided that Basuma wasn't worth pursuing anywhere near as vigorously as Ruben Neves was in the summer. And the same goes for potentially this window with Bruno Guimaraes. For some reason, he's available. We kind of know that. Leon would accept money if it came in, a decent money. Newcastle, it sounds like, haven't quite hit that figure yet, so he's still technically available. But Arsenal aren't choosing to go there, and it's just got to be something that has been flagged up in recruitment, and they've got other targets to go for. Fayez here says no incoming. I think I'm not sure that's true. Even if they don't get a midfielder and a striker, I wouldn't be surprised if Matt Turner, the goalkeeper, comes in between now and the end of the window. Certainly from people I've been speaking to, they believe that that's the closest to any deal that could potentially happen for Arsenal right now. I mean, it's not one that's going to set the fan base alight in excitement, is it? Bringing in a second choice goalkeeper. But, I think Arsenal, from what I understand, are quite hopeful that that might be done between now and the end of the window. So that's one certainly to keep an eye on. Nothing won't happen, says Akeem. Nothing. Do you mean nothing will happen? I think you probably do. Thoughts on Guimaraes, says Lidgy123. Thoughts on Guimaraes to Newcastle. Do you think we're more likely to go for a striker or midfielder between now and the 1st of February? I think they're more likely probably to go for a striker just because of the situation. But, they want a midfielder as well. So it either could happen. Arsenal have been very much in the running for Arthur at Juventus. So really hoping to get that one done by now. It hasn't. I was speaking to someone who's very close to that deal yesterday who described it as a little bit stuck. And that kind of is the way it's been for a while now, because on the Juventus side, in terms of Arsenal side, they want Arthur. In terms of the players side, they want Arthur. But it's just not happened. And, whether it's something moves forward to allow that to happen between now and Monday, we'll have to wait and see. But Juventus haven't brought in a replacement. There's been a sort of disagreement over how long the loan deal was going to be for. Arsenal wanted 6 months, Juventus wanted 18 months, and it's not all been given the green light from various people on both ends of the deal. So it's a little bit stuck. And I know Guimaraes is available, and you asked me for my thoughts on him. He looks like a very good player. I can't sit here right now and pretend that I'm an expert on Bruno Guimaraes and that I watch French football religiously. I know that he's a good player. I know that he's a player who's been linked religiously with Arsenal for a long time now, and there was interest in him in the summer. Some interest. Again, it wasn't ever really followed up. There's never been a bid. And at the moment, they've chosen not to bid again this window. And all I can say on it, in terms of my thoughts, is that there must be a reason for that. And that reason must be something that's been flagged up in the way they've been analysed through the recruitment team. I can't say the ins and outs of it about why exactly Arsenal haven't decided to firm up their interest in a player that they've clearly been kind of watching for a while now. But their interest is focused elsewhere. I mean, there's talk about Douglas Luiz at the moment from Aston Villa, which is a weird one. I actually really like Douglas Luiz. Whenever I've seen him play, I've always been really impressed with him and thought he's a quality player. I don't know if there's these rumours about Luiz and Arsenal have got any substance. It's not something that's been mentioned to me yet. But if there is substance to it, then I'd say I'll be quite actually behind this one, because I really like Douglas Luiz, and I think he's got. Every time I've seen him, there's just when players just catch your eye from. For whatever reason, and whenever I've watched him play, he's always caught my eye and thought he's got something about him, this player. So I wouldn't be against that one at all. Whether Arsenal follow it up and decide to try and get it done, I have no idea. But clearly they're looking at other players other than Guimaraes, and they don't want to get into a bidding war with Newcastle. There's only one winner there, isn't there, at the moment? And it'll be interesting to see if Guimaraes ultimately does choose Newcastle, because if they do agree a fee with Leon, is he going to go there? Sounds like he might do. And another reservation I have about him, not really a reservation, just more of a question really, is why aren't top clubs banging the door down for him? Why aren't, you talk about Arsenal, but why aren't Man United, why aren't Manchester City, why aren't Liverpool, who clearly need to sort the midfield out soon, banging the door down? Why aren't Bayern Munich banging the door down for him? He's been available for quite some time, and they know that Leon probably will accept if the right money comes in, and yet no club's ever done it. The only club who's really bid for him is Newcastle. In my mind, I sort of think, well, why is that? There's got to be something that's turning these real top level clubs away from putting a bid in for him. So they're my thoughts. Slightly rambled on a little bit. Oh, another guy called Charles talking about Douglas Luiz there. Like I said, unfortunately, this is one that I've heard about myself, Douglas Luiz. I've just seen the rumours like you that have started to do the round. in the last sort of day or so. So I'm not sure how highly to rate him. Unfortunately, if I do find that out, I will, I'll bring it to you over the next couple of days. But in terms of how highly I rated him, like I said, he's always been a player who's caught my eye whenever I've watched him. And Mikel is, knows him very well from his time at Manchester City. So if Arsenal are really in the mix for him, you think Mikel will be, sort of leading that push for him. And I think one thing you've got to give when it comes to Arteta and Edu is really their sort of talent ID in the summer. The players they brought in, they all worked. They were good signings. And so you've got to give them a little bit of credit for that and hope that sort of success when it comes to recruitment continues. So if they have identified someone like Luiz, and he turns out to be a very good signing, then great. But yeah, I unfortunately with him, that's one I can't bring my own information on because it's not something I've heard yet. Plank, does the Dubai trip mean no signings? No, not at all. It doesn't mean no signings at all. In fact, speaking of someone at the club who's telling me that if signings do come in between now and the end of the window, then the plan is for them to fly out and join the rest of the squad in Dubai if they arrive in time. Edu and Richard Garlick, who's Director of Football Operations here at Arsenal now, they haven't gone out to Dubai. They're going to be staying in England at London Colney to work on, any sort of transfer deals, ins or outs, that might come up between now and the end of the window. So it absolutely doesn't mean it means no signings. It's just the squad and Mikel and the coaching staff going over there, but the guys who really work on the deals, they're staying in London to concentrate. So no, it doesn't. Rory, Charles, do you think Calvert-Lewin would be a good fit? I do. Calvert-Lewin, in fact, I have to say, and I've had some grief from this people that I've spoken to about it, I think Calvert-Lewin's my pick for the striker that I would like Arsenal to sign. I think he ticks a lot of the boxes for what Arsenal need. He probably needs to work on a little bit side of his game, so maybe his link-up play and his touch, but I think he's young. He's English. He's Premier League proven. I thought he was great last season. He's always in and around the penalty area to finish chances. He's really worked on that. I think that's been really big in his improvement at Everton. And I think he'd be really well suited to Arsenal. I do. I think he'd be an excellent signing. He'll be expensive, no doubt about that. You've got the English tax that you have to pay just because you do when you try and sign another club's player here in the Premier League, certainly an English player. But I really like him. I think he'd be worth the money. And if Arsenal do have the chance to sign him, I don't think there'll be any problem with him making the move to Arsenal. It'd just be a case of convincing Everton. For now, for this month, I think that that's looking very, very unlikely, isn't it? Given what's going on at Everton at the moment, the fans are already fuming there, given with the manager situation and the poor performances on the pitch. We've seen them protesting at Goodison Park after the match at the weekend last night as well, outside the stadium. Can you imagine what they'd be like if Everton agreed to sell Calvert-Lewin in January to a Premier League rival? I mean, they'd just go absolutely bonkers. So I can't imagine it would be something for this winter. But, in the summer, it could well be one if Arsenal really want to sort of push up. And they are interested in Calvert-Lewin, no doubt about that. They definitely like him. If they want to pursue that further in the summer, then, certainly I'd be behind it because I think he's an excellent player. Powell, is that the name? Sorry if I got that pronunciation very wrong there. Well, thank you for your kind words. What position do you think is a likely Arsenal signing? Well, I think the likeliest, as I said early on, is goalkeeper, because that's what I understand from people I spoke to is the closest of any deal to be done is Matt Turner coming in, the American international goalkeeper, as number 2. What that means for Bernd Leno, we'll have to wait and see should the deal go through. So I'd say now the likeliest is the goalkeeper. And I know that's not going to excite you guys, but that is just what I understand the situation is at the moment. But I'm not ruling out a midfielder or a striker now, but obviously time is running out. Time is certainly of the essence. Interesting view here. Window has been nothing short of shambolic so far. Interesting one, this. I tend to agree. I think certainly the decision to loan out Ainsley Maitland-Niles was mad. Really mad. I said it at the start of the window before he went. Just wait till the end of January. I know even if Roma were putting pressure on you, saying, "Oh, we'll go and sign somewhere else," we'll say, "Sorry, we need him." And you look back on it now and you think he probably would have started the last 4 games, Ainsley, given what's gone on. And that would have allowed Arsenal to stick with 4-2-3-1 rather than having to go 4-3-3 and dropping Odegaard back, playing him in a deeper role that hasn't really worked. And so at the time it looked an odd decision, and now it looks like a really baffling one. So in that regard, I agree. I think there's been some shambolic decisions taken during this window which have really hurt Arsenal in terms of letting players go. And the Aubameyang situation certainly hasn't helped either. I know a lot of you have got really wound up about the Vlahovic one, but as I've said before on this, it's been a strange transfer saga, that one. And I know a lot of you think Arsenal have wasted all their time on Vlahovic and not looked at anyone else, but that's just not the case. I'd always been told, and I've said it before, that that wasn't one that a lot of people at the club expected were going to happen. There's no way they've just spent all winter thinking about Vlahovic. They've been looking at other targets as well, because there was a feeling, certainly amongst the people I spoke to at the club, that Vlahovic wasn't really a realistic option anyway, and that they didn't really consider themselves as genuine contenders for it. So it wouldn't have been a case of them just wasting all their time on one player. They'd have been looking at other players during that time as well, and they've certainly been talking to agents behind the scenes. I know that for a start. It's just a really difficult window to get business done. It really is, especially when you're looking for top level signings. And that's what Arsenal are. You know, if you're talking about your Vlahovic's, your CalvertLewins, Isaacs, players like that, you know, they're top tier signings, and it's very difficult to get them done in January because the clubs you're trying to get them out of don't want to lose them, and a lot of the players don't even want to leave because they'll want to see where Arsenal finish at the end of the season and what competitions are going to be in next season. You look at, it's not just Arsenal, teams across the board are struggling to sign players this window. So I do agree, in some way there's been some really shambolic management of the window by Arsenal in the last month, and I think Ainsley Maitland-Niles, the decision to let him go is right at the top of that. But I also do think that it's just that a lot of what we've seen during this window is just what happens during the January window. It is very difficult for clubs to get deals done. Here we go. Can we have more details about Arteta's meeting with Kroenke? Well, from what I understand on this, it wasn't a meeting that was about one specific topic. I've seen, lots of talks saying, oh, it's about, he went over there to have contract talks, or he went over there just to talk about the striker situation. From what I understand, there was no specific topic. It was just a case of a manager who hasn't been able to get over and meet the owner face to face for a couple of years because of the pandemic, had the opportunity. So he's gone over there, and lots of things would have been discussed. Yes, I'm pretty sure his contract probably would have been discussed. The striker situation, no doubt, will have been discussed. The transfer window will have been discussed. All of that, but it was just a general meeting about a wide range of things. It wasn't just him going over there, banging on the door, saying, "I need a striker," or something like that. It's just that it was a chance to get over, have a face-to-face meeting with Stan, and discuss a lot of things, and that's what Mikel's done. That's an interesting one. How do you feel about other websites using your comments for their own stories? That's an interesting question, Charles. I haven't seen one of those come up. How do I feel about it? I don't mind it. What I do mind is when they totally misquote or don't provide any context to a certain sentence that I've said, and they base a whole story around that sentence without actually providing context in terms of how I've said it. So, for example, I could say, Arsenal are not going to sign a striker. It's just not going to happen. And then in the next sentence that's what someone has said, but they won't put that's what someone has said. That would just be Charles Watt says Arsenal won't sign a striker, and just really clickbait the hell out the headline as well. And yeah, so that's really frustrating. But other than that, I don't really mind it. I'd kind of expect it now anyway. David Murphy asks, any update on the Brentford game potentially being moved? No, nothing yet. Like I said the other day, I've heard whispers that the Wolves home game might be sort of squeezed in for the midweek ahead of that Brentford game, and that might mean the Brentford game being moved to the Sunday, but it's not been confirmed yet. So I absolutely don't, base your plans around that, because it's not been set in stone yet. That's just the whispers that's going around. And nothing obviously has been announced yet. We saw the fixtures for March being announced yesterday, but in terms of the Brentford one, I'm still not sure. Do you think we can make it to the top four? Absolutely, 100%, Raoul. I do believe we can make it to the top four. Why not? They've put themselves in a great position. Even if they don't make any signings this window, I still think they've got a hell of a chance of doing it, because I don't think Tottenham are all that. I mean, Tottenham obviously have Kane and Son, and that's a big difference. They've got guaranteed goals in their side. Arsenal don't. They're going to have to rely on a lot of the sort of younger, wide attacking players to score like they did in December, because let's face it, Lacazette's not going to bang in 10 goals between now and the end of the season, which you kind of need for your striker. You'd want from your striker. Tottenham have got that in Kane and Son. But I still think elsewhere in the team, I think Arsenal defensively are pretty decent now. They've got a very good goalkeeper. I think their midfield is going to be an awful lot stronger once Partey and Xhaka come back after this winter break. You've got quality out wide who can score goals. We've seen that already this season. The way they were playing in December when everyone was fit and available, that was really, really exciting. I don't think we should forget that just because we've had a difficult January. So, they've absolutely got a chance of top four. Would they have a better chance if they sign themselves a striker between now and the end of the window? 100%. But even if they don't, I still think they've got a really good opportunity to get that top four spot. Lots of you saying where you're watching from around the world. Always interested to see where so many of you are watching from. This is an interesting one. Is there a path for Orba to return? Now, I mean, this is so key for Arsenal, in my view. And I've said it before. I've given my opinion on this before, that if Arsenal don't sign a striker, then they've got to reintegrate Orba. Personally, do I think that's possible? I think it looks unlikely just because history suggests when Arteta makes a decision like this, he doesn't reverse it. And that player ends up leaving the club. We've seen it with Ozil. We've seen it with Guendouzi. There's been no way back for them. Is there a way back for Orba? You would think that just from a sense of how do I put it? Just to be sensible, really, that if you don't sign a striker and you're trying to get top four, then your best chance of getting top four is to bring Orba back into the fold and at least have him as another option. I'm not saying to start him every single week, because I actually think Arsenal are a better team when Orba's not in the side at the moment, because Orba wasn't playing great this season anyway. We know that. And I do think Arsenal are better when Lacazette's there, but you need another option, and Orba certainly provides that. And he's a proven top level goal scorer in the Premier League and across Europe. So for me, if they don't get themselves a striker between now and the end of the window, then I think you've got to reintegrate Orba. But I just don't. From what I understand, they're still looking to try and get him out before deadline day, and they're very open to letting him leave. So that suggests to me that there's probably no way back for him. Or I think, who would I prefer? I really like Isaac, I have to say, but he doesn't. You don't get the sense that he's going to come in and going to be very prolific in front of goal. I don't think that necessarily is the worst thing, because I think he'll really help with a lot of his link up, because he's great on the ball. He's got great dribbling ability. I think he'll bring others into play well. I've forgotten how to even pronounce the Napoli striker's name. I'm not even going to go for it, because all I get is so much grief when I mispronounce someone's name. But I really like him. I mean, he's strong. He ticks all the boxes, I think, for a player who can cope in the Premier League. He's a goal threat. We know that. It's just how do you get him out of Napoli? It's going to be really, really tough. Napoli is so difficult to deal with when it comes to selling players. I think to do that between now and the end of the window looks highly unlikely. So, either of them I'd be happy with. It's tough to say exactly who I'd prefer, but it's probably the Napoli striker. I'm not going to go with the pronunciation, because I'll get it completely wrong, and you lot will kill me as you always do. I'm not at the stage of Edu out yet, I have to say. I know a lot of you are at the stage of Edu out here on social media. I'm not there yet. I still think what he did in the summer, Arsenal deserve a lot of credit for their transfer business in the summer. I thought they recruited very well. I actually like the fact that he's got rid of a lot of players. He's got rid of a fair few players and showed a bit of ruthlessness with terminating their contracts rather than letting them stick around. But, I think Mikel also has to take a lot of credit for what happened in the summer, because I know for a fact that Eddie was wanted to bring in Emerson Royal it was going to be a sort of swap deal with Hector going to Barcelona. I know Eddie was really pushing for that deal to be done, and in the end it wasn't. And Arsenal went for Tomiyasu as well, and I think Arteta was a big part of that. So I'm not going to sit here and say as well, Eddie's great at recruiting players and identifying players, because I think Arteta is very, he's a very presence in that as well. So I'm on the fence with him. I've always been sceptical of Edu after what he did to the scouting department at Arsenal. I didn't agree with that at all. And he's kind of admitted his mistakes by now recruiting scouts and installing them in the same positions as the ones that he got rid of. But I think he deserves a little bit more time. I'm not going to really hammer him after this window, just because I know that January is difficult. I think if he messes up in the summer, then absolutely fingers should be pointed firmly at him. But I think the work he did last summer certainly buys him a little bit of time in my view. And I don't think failing to land massive targets in January is, deserves for him to be everyone to be on the whole sort of Edu out bandwagon, just because I know how difficult this market is. Right, what we got? It's 1:30. I'm going to have to go soon because in 15 minutes I am doing a thing on the BBC on the football news show, and I need to join their Zoom call. So I need to get myself ready for that. And you watch out for that. It's going to be on the BBC iPlayer later today, and on the BBC News channels you'll be able to spot me talking about Aubameyang and the transfer window. As to be fair, looking through these questions, lots of you are asking ones that I've already answered as well. So I'm going to call time on this here as we get towards the half an hour mark. Thank you very much. I will try and do another one of these before the end. Maybe on Monday, on deadline day, I'll do a live as well. I won't be able to do it throughout the day rolling or anything like that. I'm just not going to have the time to do that. But I will try and do it because I'm sure you guys will be quite interested. Last one, will Pepe join the team in Dubai? I think he will, yes. I think the plan is for him to join the team in Dubai. That's certainly what I was told yesterday. Whether that changes, I'm not sure. But the plan was for Pepe to possibly head out, not today, maybe, but still to join the team in Dubai. Arteta basically wants everyone there, even injured players like Tomiyasu who are going out there. He just wants them all together. It's not just about training; it's about sort of squad bonding as well. There's going to be a few squad bonding exercise and things like that. So Arteta is very, very keen to get them in. So injured players and people like Pepe will be heading over. All right, everyone, that's it for me. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it. As always, if anything does happen between now and the end of the window, I'll bring it to you across all my social media channels and on goal, of course. So please do keep your eyes peeled and enjoy the rest of your day. Don't get too wound up about Arsenal failing to sign anyone at the moment. And I'll speak to you guys very, very soon. Thanks for watching.